Welcome everyone to Football for Fun. This is our debut of college football videos. The first time we are covering college football in a long video form. We've done some shorts on the channel. You can go check those out if you want. Blind rankings mostly. But today we are going to be ranking SEC teams 1 through 16. I'm doing it tier list style, so we have 4 tiers set up here. We've got contenders, so the best of the best in my opinion. I'm going to put someone there you probably disagree with. That's okay. Let me know how I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments. I've got a tier for pretty good. These are teams that, well, they're pretty good. I just don't think they're true contenders. I don't think they're part of the elite right now. I'm probably going to have teams there that you disagree with as well, but that's okay. Next, we have dark horses. These are teams no one's really talking about as real threats in the grand scheme of things, but I do think that if a few things go right, they could surprise you and be playoff teams. And then we have nope, and these are teams that are just not touching the playoffs. It'll be fun to root for them because they're at the bottom of the SEC. You want to see these underdog type of teams take a step forward and, stun you. But, yeah, you don't want to be in the nope tier. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to put that many teams there, but, yeah, you don't want to be there. Now, I hope you enjoy this type of content. If you do, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm planning to cover all of the power conferences and eventually get to the group of 5, make some rankings, some predictions, and it's just going to be a good time here at Football for Fun. I also do need to warn you, though, I am a diehard Georgia fan. I am going to do my best to be objective with my rankings. That being said, we're going to start at number 1 here. It is the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm sorry, I got to do it. Call it bias, call it team loyalty, but really, I think the top 2 are kind of clear for me. It's Georgia, and then I'll get to the number 2 soon. But we won the SEC championship last year with what I believe was Kirby's worst team since 2017. It was also Kirby's, probably his best coaching job, or one of his best coaching jobs since he's been with the Dogs. I don't know, I have a lot of optimism for this year. People aren't talking about us as much, which is just dangerous. Kirby Smart's going to be selling that to the locker room, you best believe it. I believe in Gunnar Stockton. I was never a Carson Beck fan. Or at least not last year. It was terrible last year. People seem to forget that, as if losing Carson Beck is going to hurt us. No, we should be fine with Stockton. I believe coming out of high school, Stockton was the more highly ranked recruit. And he also has, he's going to be able to help us in the ground game. We've got Zach Frazier at running back. He should be good. He's the starter this year. I don't believe he started last year, but he still had a pretty decent season in his freshman year. So, and we added Zachariah Branch from USC, so hopefully we now have a receiver who can catch the ball. That'll be nice. I'm not too worried. I know there are probably some questions with the depth, and I know a lot of Georgia fans do not like offensive coordinator Mike Bobo. Truth be told, I'm one of them, so that is a concern for me. But you know what? If we could somehow win the SEC last year, and I have no idea how we did, just props to Kirby. If we could win it last year, I don't see why we can't again. I'm going to need someone to dethrone us before I say that there's a better team in the SEC. Not worried about the Dogs. Looking forward to the season. That brings me to number 2, and this is the team most people have at number 1, I believe, despite going 0-2 against the Dogs last year. It is Texas. Now, a big reason for the optimism around them is Arch Manning. And whatever you think of Arch, I mean, there's a reason that there's all this hype. It's not just his last name. He was pretty good in high school. He's a highly ranked recruit. I think he's going to be pretty good. Is he going to be a Heisman-level player? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. That's kind of hard to project. I wouldn't be surprised, though. He's sat patiently for a couple years behind Quinn Ewers. He's done it right. He should know the offense. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does at Texas. Now, I'm not going to root for them because I'll be rooting for my Dogs, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if they win the SEC, if they even win the national championship. I really like their defense. Not too sure about their skill position players, but I would imagine they're going to have a guy step up at least, like Matthew Golden last year. Why not Texas, right? They should be one of the best teams in the SEC again, one of the best teams in the nation. We'll see what happens. I do think it was wise. I think it was wise to schedule Ohio State in week 1. They're going to be battle-tested this year. They open with Ohio State. Even if they lose that game, I mean, the rest of the way, they don't have that tough of an SEC schedule just like last year. They should be fine. It would be a genuine shock if they miss the playoffs. And for Arch Manning, even if you don't believe he's going to be elite, he just has to be what Quinn Ewers was. And that's not to speak poorly of Quinn Ewers, because I think he was a pretty good college football quarterback. But he didn't really elevate that team last year. He was just fine. Just fine. That's it. People were calling for Manning to take his job at certain points of the year. And I like Ewers, but Manning has the potential to be so much more than Ewers was. Now we're going to go on to number 3 here, also in the contenders category. And this might surprise some people. I'm putting Ole Miss here. I view Ole Miss as the third best team in the SEC. I haven't seen that a lot. I think most people have them closer to 5 or 6, so I'm higher on Ole Miss than most people. Dangerous game I'm playing here for sure. Probably going to come back to bite me. But I am a fan of Austin Simmons at quarterback. I know he hasn't shown a lot yet, but I did watch him carve up the Georgia defense last year when he came in for Jackson Dart for one series, and it was phenomenal. Now, I don't know if he's actually that good. Maybe it turns out he's not, but he looked a lot like Tua to me. That's what he reminded me of, and that's what I'm expecting to see here at Ole Miss this season. Now, they should be able to win 9 or 10 games. They should be able to make the playoffs. They don't have any excuses at this point. They got to break through eventually. I'll probably be predicting they make the playoffs. It wouldn't surprise me if they win the SEC. I view Ole Miss very fondly, and that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but it all comes down to Austin Simmons. Sort of like with Texas, it mostly comes down to Arch Manning. Just depends on how it goes. So roast me for it if you must, but I believe in Ole Miss. Now, rounding out the contenders tier, I am putting Alabama here. And I don't want to. As a Georgia fan, I've been scarred for life by Alabama multiple times. 2nd and 26 plays on repeat in my mind sometimes. No, not really, but it is terrible. But Alabama, I believe in Kalen DeBoer. I realize that there aren't a lot of people who will boldly proclaim that, but I will. I believe in Kalen DeBoer. Oh, I can't even say his name now. Goodness. But he's a very good coach. He was good at Washington. He hopefully is going to have a quarterback more suited to him this year, whether it's Simpson or whoever the other guy is, Austin Mack, I think. And they got a freshman, but I don't think they're going to start the freshman. They're going to figure out the quarterback position. It's really the defense. If the defense plays well, then that would help a lot. I'm not too worried about the offense. Ryan Williams will help whichever quarterback is a starter, and I think their offensive line looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure the defense is supposed to be good. I hate to say it, but I think Alabama is going to be closer to returning to the Alabama they once were. It's never going to be the same because Saban is gone, but I expect them to be a huge threat in the SEC. They won't lose to teams like Vanderbilt this year. No offense to Vanderbilt, but come on. You didn't see that coming last year. So these are the big four in the SEC, in my opinion, is Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, Alabama, in that order. Rather bold to put it that way, but that's just my view of it. We're going to go on to pretty good here. And these are teams I wouldn't feel comfortable predicting them to win the SEC. All of these teams in the contenders tier, I would predict it. I'm okay with it. Even Ole Miss, yes, even Ole Miss. But these next few teams, they're good teams. And if you want to predict them to win the SEC or make the playoffs, that's cool. It's just not going to be me. So we're going to start off at number 5, LSU. A lot of people view LSU very fondly, and I get it. They return Garrett Nussmeier, very good quarterback, gunslinger. He should lead the offense very well. 4,000 yards last year, and they've probably got a couple of good receivers because they always seem to. That's LSU football. I don't know how good their offensive line is going to be, nor do I know how good their run game is going to be. The defense should be okay. I don't think it's going to be elite. It's not like they're Texas, because Texas has an amazing defense. I think they're fine. I think this is a team that wins 8 or 9 games, but I don't see them as a championship contending team this year. Maybe they get there, maybe they don't. I don't believe they will. I think they're pretty good, and that's that. But we'll see. Number 6, maybe I have them too high, maybe I don't, but I've got the Florida Gators. And I hate Florida. There's not really a team I hate more in college football, despise the Gators. But DJ Lagway scares me. He looks like he's going to be really good. Now, there is a world where he is just the next Anthony Richardson, and he's flashy, but he can't put it all together for long enough for the team to be that good. But I actually think he is a game changer, and I think Florida has a very talented roster, and I am a little bit scared of them. Part of me thinks they're going to beat us this year, and I'll admit, I think that if DJ Lagway was healthy in the Georgia game last year, they would have won that. There aren't many Georgia fans who admit that, but I do. I think Florida would have beaten us last year. But DJ Lagway, it all comes down to him. If he can be what everyone seems to think he can be, Florida's going to be scary. The reason I don't think they're a true contender in the national scheme of things, or even in the SEC, is their brutal, daunting schedule. I don't think they're going to win enough games, and I think there are probably enough flaws on the roster anyway that they'll lose games. I'm thinking 8-4 type of season, even if they beat Georgia, like 8-4, 9-3 at best. I think they're pretty good, but I don't think they're quite good enough to be true contenders. Next up at number 7, I have Texas A&M. And they're a hard team for me to view. I feel like they should be better than they're perceived to be, but they're not. I feel like they've got a pretty good coach in Elko. I like Marcel Reed at quarterback. They seem really solid overall. They seemed really solid last year too, and they just couldn't put it together. I think this year could be different. I wouldn't be surprised if they won enough games to make it into the playoffs. But also, this is Texas A&M. I just can't see it. I have a really hard time seeing them put it all together. They were so close last year, and they fumbled. I'm guessing it's going to be similar again. They feel like an 8-4, 9-3 type of team. I don't have a strong reason behind it. They have potential for sure, but you're not going to find me predicting it. Just me personally, it's a no. Next up at number 8, I have South Carolina. Now, I've spoken about this previously, mostly in the NFL streams that we do. I am a big fan of Lenore Sellers. Absolutely a big fan. I think that he is one of the best quarterbacks in college football, if not the best quarterback. That's bold, but that's my take. And I think he's going to be one of the first quarterbacks taken in the NFL draft when he declares. That being said, I have them low at 8 because I'm not sure how I feel about the rest of the roster. I think the 7 teams I've put ahead of them have better overall rosters than South Carolina, and that's okay. I think South Carolina probably has the best quarterback out of all these teams I've listed so far. But at what point do you have to stop and go, the rest of the roster has to be able to keep up? Lenore Sellers is amazing, in my opinion, but I just don't believe in the rest of the roster enough to put them above 8. I think they're going to be pretty good, but they're going to lose enough games because they aren't talented enough overall. They're going to lose enough games to miss out on the playoffs and just go to a mediocre bowl game. They'll be 8-4, 9-3, something like that. That's fine for South Carolina, but yeah, that's just my view. Now, rounding out the pretty good tier, I'm putting Tennessee here. And yeah, I mean, they're probably going to have a really good defense again. They lose James Pierce Jr., but, next man up, they're probably going to be fine on defense. It's the offense that worries me. I know I'm not worried overall at quarterback. I know they lost Nico, but it's not like he was that good for them. They brought in a transfer from Appalachian State, I believe, and he's fine, but I just don't see enough improvement for them to be better than they were last year. This feels like an 8-4 team to me. They're pretty good. I have a hard time seeing them make it back into the playoffs, though. I think they lose more games this year than last year. In 2 years, though, maybe they bring in a quarterback who really does electrify that offense, and they're a playoff threat. We'll see. Now, we're moving on to the dark horse tier. I'm putting Oklahoma in, and I'm sure most people saw that coming. It's everyone's dark horse in the SEC, Oklahoma. They brought in John Mateer at quarterback, and that should help their offense a lot, you would think. That's what I've heard anyway. I guess we're going to find out. But that's really what it comes down to. If the offense can be good, Oklahoma is a threat. Their defense should be stout. They were pretty good last year. The offense was the problem. They went 6-6 a year ago. I think they improved to probably 8 or 9 wins. But if John Mateer comes in and is as good as people expect him to be, there's a chance Oklahoma looks at their daunting schedule, and suddenly it's Oklahoma. They're the tough team on the schedule for other teams. Oklahoma is the team that's favored in most of those games. That could be the reality we meet. I'm personally not predicting it, but you should be watching out for the Sooners. If John Mateer comes in and changes that offense completely, who knows what happens. So that's number 10, Oklahoma. Number 11, joining them in the dark horses tier, it's Auburn. Auburn is like this sleeping giant in college football. Most years, they're not that good. Let's face it, that's just the truth nowadays. They're not good, usually. It's been a while since they were truly good. But every now and then, randomly, for absolutely no reason at all, Auburn is good. It's been a while, like I said, but they're kind of due for a season like that. They're due for a season where they randomly win 9, 10 games. They're in the playoff discussion. They don't win at all, but they're up there. That's what I'm expecting this year from Auburn, which I don't have a concrete reason. I'm just choosing blindly to believe in Jackson Arnold in that offense and Hugh Freeze as the head coach, and the defense should be solid. They got a couple of defensive players who are being projected into the first round of the NFL draft, I believe. At least one of them. They got an edge rusher there. Auburn's got pieces. They could put it all together. I looked at their schedule. I could see them winning 9 or 10 games. I really could. It just depends on Jackson Arnold. I might be bold enough to predict it, to be honest, but we'll get to my predictions in another video. Auburn is a dark horse, that sleeping giant in college football. Will they be woken up this year? We'll see. At 12, might be a slight surprise here, it's Arkansas. I view them as a dark horse because I think that Arkansas is actually a good team. sneaky good, perhaps. They have Taylor Green as their dual threat quarterback. Last I checked, I'm pretty sure he's still there. He's a lot of fun. I think the offense is fun, and if they can be more consistent this year, they could be a nightmare for opposing defenses. It's the Arkansas defense I'm less certain about. I think they're okay. I just don't know that they're good enough for them to win enough games. Like I'm not sure Arkansas even makes a bowl game. I need to put that out there. I'm not sure they even make a bowl game. Their schedule is brutal. But I think Arkansas is a good team. It's just going to be tough to show it. Like, I think every team I've put on this list so far, I think is a good team. I could argue each of these teams to be in the top 25 in the overall rankings. I might not, but I could. Arkansas included. It might not show in the results next year, though. They might be 5-7, missing a bowl game, firing their coach, and that just sucks. I feel bad for Arkansas fans. That sucks. But I think they are a dark horse. I think they have real talent there, and I think that they could surprise people. At the very least, they could play spoiler for some of these teams ranked above them here. That's my view on Arkansas. People forget that they could be sneaky good. We'll see what happens. Now, rounding out my dark horse tier, I am going to put Missouri here. I think people view Missouri more fondly than me. Some people might not even like that I'm calling them a dark horse, but the only reason I think they're a dark horse to contend in any way is they have an easier schedule than most of these teams. It wouldn't be a surprise if they managed to win 9 games and they're in the playoff discussion. I just don't think they're that good of a team. Every team I put here, including Arkansas, I think is better than Missouri. I would pick them to beat Missouri. I'm planning to pick these teams to beat Missouri this season. So I don't love Missouri. They were great a couple seasons ago. Last year they fell off a lot, won like 9 games anyway. This year I think they lose more of those games that perhaps they came close to losing last year. I don't know. I'm not optimistic about Missouri, but they have an easy enough schedule, relatively speaking, that I could see them making some noise. And they have a new quarterback, next receiver up, new running back, I believe. Maybe they make some noise, and I'm just completely wrong about Missouri, but they're kind of a dark horse, just mostly because of their schedule. You're welcome to disagree with my rationale there if you want. Let me know in the comments what you think of that. Now, finally, we are in the nope tier. You see all the teams here. It's just a matter of how I rank them. At 14, I'm putting Vanderbilt. I hate putting them in nope. I'm rooting for Vanderbilt. I really am. I've referred to them as America's team multiple times. I would love for them to outperform my expectations, but I have them ranked 14th. It's not that I think they're bad. It's just I can't see them doing a whole lot. I don't think the overall roster is that talented. I don't think they have great depth. It's not the same as these other teams. They have Diego Pavia, and that dude has got confidence like no one else. It is crazy. I think he is the only reason they have a shot at even making a bowl game. And I hate it. I don't want that to be right. Desperately, I hope I'm wrong about Vanderbilt. But I don't know. The best case scenario is what they had last year, in my opinion. Again, I'm rooting for them, but just nope. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be that good of a year. 6-6 at best. Next, I've got Kentucky. They're good every few years, like solid. They win enough games. I have a hard time seeing it. I think they're just in a rough spot right now. I think it's like Vanderbilt. They don't have the talent that the teams above them have. I think they brought in Zach Calzada at quarterback. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's their quarterback now. He's kind of bounced around teams for a few years. I'm assuming that's not going to work out super well. I don't love the overall roster at this point. They usually have a solid defense, so maybe that's their saving grace. But no, I think that it's going to be a tough season for Kentucky. I'm thinking like 4 wins. Just not a lot of room for optimism, in my opinion. But hey, you got basketball, right? Yeah, sorry. Mississippi State's going in at 16. I think most people probably saw that coming. I think they went 2-10 last year or something like that. It was brutal. They've been reeling for the past few years, and I feel bad for them. I would love to see them turn it around too. I don't think this is the year, though. It's possible that their quarterback and then the receiver room they rebuilt is going to be good enough for them to pull some upsets. I would expect them to improve upon a 2-10 season. It's still going to be rough. I have a hard time seeing them make a bowl game. But don't be surprised if they randomly pull an upset here and there. The funniest scenario is they beat Ole Miss in the last week of the year to keep them out of the playoffs and, ruin what I built here with Ole Miss and contenders. But I could see that happening too. But yeah, there you have it. These are my SEC rankings. I don't know that you'll find any quite like this because who else has Ole Miss in their top 3, right? I feel like that's bold. I've got Missouri lower than most people, I believe. I don't know. I think these are fair rankings. We're going to see how the season plays out. It's possible I look back on this and wonder what was wrong with me on this day. Hopefully, this doesn't age that badly, but I'm looking forward to seeing the season play out. As a Georgia fan, as I've said from the beginning, I'm a Georgia fan. I tried my best to be objective here. Yes, Georgia's at 1. Let's see if someone can dethrone us. I would not be surprised. I think this conference is more fun than it's been in years. Anyone in the top 2 tiers could feasibly win it. Some of the dark horses could feasibly win it if a few things go right. I'm not bold enough to predict it for anyone below the contenders tier. But there's a world where it happens, is what I'm saying. There's so much parity in college football now. You gotta love it. But yeah, there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what I did right and what I did wrong. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.